Thanks for having me here, guys. It's great to see consciousness here. So beyond the conversation, huh? What is beyond the conversation? Heard that? Silence. That's what's beyond the conversation. And that's why I have decided that we're all going to go silent for the next 15 minutes. So close your eyes. Not now, but when the next speaker starts speaking. But silence is so important. Silence has made me more me than ever. It's made me get closer to my soul. As a kid, I was a dreamer. Dreaming has always been my vibe. The one day to design fast cars always kept me excited through life. The picture shows how early the love with cars began, to the point where I couldn't even fall asleep unless I hugged my cars. I still deal with that problem today. I continue dreaming even through school. In the lectures, I often found myself logging into my dream world. It's almost as if I was living in a parallel universe, until moments when I found the teacher ready to throw the dust at me, and the rest of the class staring at me, all waiting for an answer to a question I hadn't even heard. I failed at the education system multiple times. I only realized later in life that the education system failed me because it wasn't designed for a dreamer like me. But then I went to design school. I studied car design because I wanted to combine my two passions of cars and art. I studied car design at the Art Center College in California. And that's when I really began to fall in love with life. I had nothing to worry about, just to design the things I envisioned and get a grade on it. One of the things I always wondered growing up was that why there weren't any cool design products from India. I'm sure some of you will connect with this. I always wondered, the question, why not from India, consumed me. After design school, I went on to work around the world. I was very fortunate to start working with Yamaha in Japan, then Volvo in the US, then Jaguar Land Rover in the UK, and then Rolls-Royce in Germany. After which, I really wanted to work for a company that was closest to my dream of designing fast cars. In fact, I was fortunate to meet Mr. Horacio Pagani, one of my heroes, and he offered me to come work with him in Italy. It was all perfect. I was all set to move to Italy, but then bureaucracy came in the way and things fell apart. It came as a jolt to me. Suddenly, my dream job wasn't possible anymore. It's almost as if I heard my mom's voice echo in my ears, like, whatever happens, happens for the good, she always says. I figured maybe it was a sign from the universe, a sign to maybe it was time for me to kind of focus on my childhood dream of designing an experience that was quintessentially Indian. To begin, I had to strengthen and motivate myself. So I read a lot of biographies, watched a lot of motivational videos. I became all about the hustle. I vibed with quotes like, either you run the day or the day runs you. It was all great. I understood the importance of time and that I would have to put in the hours to get where I wanted. And so I did. I started my company in 2015 with the vision of creating dynamic expressions of art. I wanted to share the same joy that I experience when I dream of the future. Here's a video from the Goodwood Festival of Speed, middle of last year, when we showcased our car for the first time. As you can see, the car is super extreme. It's really designed around aerodynamics. The challenge of car design is to somewhere combine the two facets of art and the science seamlessly into one elegant product. The car is electric and is going to be really fast. The reactions that we got from the audience has kind of been motivating to the point where it gives us a confidence boost to keep pushing through the development forward. But I know what you're wondering. I know you're wondering, well, it looks like any other car. What inspired this thing? How is it Indian? What makes this Indian? Well, Lord Shiva inspired this. You see the Lord Shiva design elements around the car, starting with the Trishul on the body side of the car, on the side. And then you have the Namaste, which is the shape of the headlight on the front. And then the 3 lines on Shiva's head, which are the LEDs on the front of the car. And of course, the name Shul, which means the one with the trident, which is Lord Shiva, and of course, the car as well. But how did it all come together until this point? What motivated me so much that I wanted to make this happen? Well, motivation only played a small role. I was 100% charged up and ready to start the company, and then, boom, an explosion of fears kicked in. Fears that were sparked by society. All the money, success, competition, all the what-ifs. I heard things like, well, do you know how many millions goes into making a car? You're still a kid. It's just not possible. Stop being delusional. It all affected me to the point where I started doubting my dream. I started thinking of alternative business ideas, like designing bags and accessories and shoes. Dreams are so easy to dream, but to make it a reality seemed impossible. Can you believe it? I knew exactly what my dream was. I knew exactly what the goal was, which is rare, right? But then I hit the hardest part of my life. The negative thoughts just kept increasing day by day. I went into constant loops of self-doubt. Even hanging out with my super cute dog didn't help at all. I was depressed. I had many panic attacks and points where I thought I was going to die from a heart attack that very moment. No conversations with anyone helped me, and it was almost like an internal battle that I had to fight. It was somewhere good that I was at least all charged up and motivated, because I needed that strength to not give up on life. I had so many existential thoughts. Why are we all here on this planet? What's the point of life? What am I here for? Life seemed fake. Having lived abroad, I never gave India a chance. I never really vibed with the whole temple religious thing. But deep down, I believed that there was some truth in it. Even Steve Jobs, one of my idols, he came to India on a similar hunt. I figured it was time for me to go hippie. Even science didn't have any answers to any of my curiosities. Even science today is still searching. Sadly, we, the youth of India, don't believe in the fundamentals of our own ancestors, our own mitti. These guys were so cool that they knew the universe had planets, and that these planets orbited, and that these planets were round. And even today, in 2019, there is still a flat Earth society. I read a lot about our past, about our ancestors. And our ancestors never really gave data or statistics. They only explained guidelines of life through stories and characters. They said that the intuition was the only way through which the universe communicates with us. And they defined the concept of consciousness as Shiva. Of course, you're thinking, who's the blue dude then? Well, he was the first human, the Adi Yogi, the first yogi to attain enlightenment and explain the design of consciousness. So that's why they named him Shiva as well. There's a drop of this energy in all of us. There is Shiva within you. We just need to value it and trust it. But our mind, it keeps confusing us all the time, right? We all have that part of the mind that behaves like a monkey. It wants to jump around thoughts, stress you out, confuse you. But it's just doing its thing. I mean, it's so innocent, but it keeps messing with you all the time. We're all subjective to overthinking, creating problems that don't even exist. What I realized from my depression was that my mind had taken complete control of me, to the point where it took me to such an extreme that my soul eventually had to speak up. And it did. It finally said, "You gotta make the car happen, bro." That's the thing. It's like, I mean, the soul never usually speaks loudly like the mind. It's polite. It whispers. It gives you feelings, but we don't tend to trust it. there were stories that kind of pushed me all the way to the limit. There were things that I had a story where my mind was really pushed to the edge, and that's when I realized that, there's things beyond us. There's things beyond our control in life, and that we have to somewhere trust in the power of the universe. This particular incident made my monkey go tomatoes. The wheels of our car were ordered weeks in advance, and a company in the US promised to deliver them in time. And suddenly, they went MIA. No questions, no answers to emails, no calls, nothing. To a point where a week before the launch in the UK, they replied saying the wheels wouldn't make it in time. I was in shock. But I knew I had to do something about it. I sent them a letter to sue, and they responded promptly saying that they would ship the wheels the next day, one day shipping by air, whatever. Can you believe it? The wheels of the car got to the UK the day before the launch, on the Wednesday when the launch was on Thursday. And they were fitted on the car for the first time at 3 a.m. when the launch was at 9 a.m. I realized from this incident that somewhere I just had to give it my all in the moment and believe that the universe would make it happen and the launch would be a great success. Fears are not your enemy. Fears are part of your story. Fears make you stronger. They're only there to prick your soul to kind of speak up louder. Even Batman needs the Joker to unleash the superhero within him. Fears are part of your story. Don't hate it. Positive, negative, yin, yang, balance. You see what I'm saying? But now you're wondering, well, how does this Shiva thing tie in with science? You're probably thinking, well, my parents and grandparents have tried to tell me all this stuff. I'm not falling for this stuff again. Well, but science and spirituality are saying the same things. Even non-living things have Shiva in them. Rocks have been scientifically proven to have a small degree of consciousness within them. This doesn't mean that the rocks are self-aware, but the basic software of consciousness is within all of us. We're all, deep down, we're all connected. It's the same energy. Quantum physicists have discovered that matter in its smallest form is vortices of energy that are constantly vibrating and spinning, each creating its own energy signature. We're all made up of this energy, even the stage, you, me. Even Einstein with the equation E is equal to mc square proves that matter and energy are interchangeable. All this energy in the universe cannot be destroyed, but just changes from one form to another. So you're probably thinking, why no proof yet then? Even some physicists reckon that the puzzle of consciousness is beyond our mind's capability to solve. The design of consciousness is the ultimate mystery. Maybe that's the point. Maybe we'll never know it all. Maybe we're not meant to know it all. What's the point of walking into a movie knowing what it's all about, right? The mystery is what keeps the experience exciting. Even one of the other reputed physicists, Max Planck, said, science cannot solve the ultimate mystery in nature. And that's because in the last analysis, we ourselves are part of the mystery we're trying to solve. The mystery is exciting, and it keeps me excited. Meditation is the closest I've experienced the beyond. Thanks to this journey, I'm still a dreamer today. Thank you.